I am. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying a different phone tonight, so just want to make sure that I'm coming in, sounding okay.
Oh, yeah, you coming in clear, baby. You good to go.
Cool. Yeah, I just started my stream. I just shared it to a couple of things and also sharing it to our show page, SportsOTHP on Facebook. Also, I just updated the website just now, so weapongames.com or sportsothp.com. You'll have tonight's and all of yesterday's great shows. I want to give a quick early shout-out. I was on the Power Play Point podcast. You can check that out as well. We're bringing Anna on in just a second. It was a fun show for sure, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But, yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days. We were doing a bunch of art streams. I've done some video game streams, trying a lot of different things right now. So it's been a hectic week, but a good week, and I correctly predicted a 2-2 week for the Capitals, so we'll get into that now.
No doubt. But before we get into that, you got to give yourself a shout-out for the District of Champions apparel you put out there, man. Go and give a shout-out to yourself. You did some nice things with the apparel, with the pillows and the blankets and the shirts. So y'all make sure y'all go check out the website. But, Robbie, break it down. Let the folks know what you did for the District of Champions.
Sounds good. Well, if you're checking out my Facebook Live feed right now, I'm actually showcasing the pillow. It says Washington Capitals, Washington Mystics, Washington Nationals. Has when they won their champions. It's the District of Champions. And then on the back, you rep SportsOTHP and the True Radio Network, of course. And you can get it in a shirt, a hoodie, whether you're in warm weather, like I know there's some people that live in Texas, they can check out, sort of the tank tops. Or if you're in colder weather, like up here, we got long sleeves, hoodies, lots of different stuff. I even have a phone case, so I'll showcase that right here for the iPhone 7 and a bunch of other iPhones and Androids and things like that. So, yeah, if you want to rep the only place that covers all of your champions, Sports on the Hill podcast, definitely go check it out. It helps support the show. Yeah, I'm excited to finally get it in. I'm going to rep this shirt over Thanksgiving for sure. I'm repping my Cap shirt right now because I'm very superstitious when we got a live game going on. But I definitely rep it a lot, and thanks for letting me give the shout out for it. And definitely go pick up some District of Champions gear. Again, the Sports and Apparel link is on our page, or go to SportsOTHP Apparel and Accessories on Facebook as well.
No doubt. I'm going to be copying me some in a little while. Life keeps on throwing these hurdles at me. I can't copy when I need to, but I'm going to get a chance to get some of that nice District of Champions sports from SportsOTHP on True Radio Network. So y'all make sure y'all go grab some of that and rep these DC teams doing big things in the city. I done already got Anna K on the line, so we can get ready to get into this Caps 2-2 week. Anna, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing so good, but I was hoping for a birthday boy soapbox moment. Come on, Carroll. Maybe not during the Caps talk. Maybe during the Redskins, and I'll have to tune in then.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tune in for the Redskins talk. I got some things to get off my chest about some of these posts that I've seen on social media about the team, about the sell the team chant, about these disillusioned fans. And I'm going to have to drop some nuggets again for these Redskins fans that don't know the history of this team. So it's been a little, kind of infuriating today to see some of the things that's been posted online, some of the crazy things that have been said. So I think it's time for CP3 to get on the soapbox and shut some of this stuff down tonight.
Oh, I 100% support you, even as a Niners fan, but I've been there. Trust me. Been there with the owners, the coaches, whatever else. But yeah, I was waiting for a birthday boy soapbox moment, but we don't have it with the Caps, which I'm okay with because that means that you're all good with how things are going so far.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a couple of hiccups here and there we're going to talk about during this Caps Talk segment. They actually get ready to drop the puck now. I was watching NHL Network before the game and listening to some of their critiques and some of the things they had to say about the Caps, even though they're still the number one team in the league, how they've had some lapses and had to come back and revert to the old Capitals of trying to outscore folks instead of playing that solid defense like we saw in that run. But we'll definitely get into that in this Caps talk because there's a lot to talk about with the Caps right now. Salary cap stuff, Anaheim live look-in game, and the 2-2 week. So let's go ahead and get into this review from last week.
Sure thing. So the first of 4 games kicked off against Arizona, and the Coyotes scored the only goal in the first period. And then they turned around and scored 2 more goals within 45 seconds of the second period. But we do have a koozie goal, scoring with assisted by Bronnan Wilson, making it 3-1 Arizona. And then Scusi scores again at 2:23 into the third, assisted by Kempney. And then at 18:43, TJ Oshie scores his 9th, assisted by the captain and Carlson. And let's just say it was Carlson's 21st, which, my guy, it's like, standing ovation for that guy. And then we're on to the shootout. Unfortunately, the Caps came up short with a 4-3 loss. So at this point,
hold on, I'm waiting for the horn. But there it goes. The Capitals have just scored 19-10 in the first period, 1-0. Richard Panik, I believe, gets the score, who I was definitely going to talk about when we talked about this team. But sorry to cut you off, but I was waiting on Robbie's goal to go off.
No, I'm so glad you guys did, because I have a delay. Oh, there it is. Oh. See,
wow, you're that far behind. Wow.
We have something
Richard Panik got his first goal as a Capital. That was one of the things they were speaking about on NHL Network. But I'll let you get back to the recap. Just wanted to give a quick breaking news with the Caps scoring within the first minute of the game once again.
No, it was serious. You can interrupt when it comes to them scoring at any point. Fantastic. Panik, he deserves it. Oh my God, go number 14. So, anyways. The only thing I walked away with this Arizona game was I think we were kind of going into it a little bit, maybe overconfident, thinking maybe we had it, it's just Arizona. This is a team to not joke around with. I really feel like they are one to keep an eye on. So we, as Capitals players, not that I am, but as a viewer and a fan, poor face-off percentage. This was the one thing out of this game that really was like that red flag. And I felt like they just got a little too comfortable. And then, of course, but on the positive end, there was minimal penalties, so I'll take that. But it was not my favorite game.
Definitely, I agree. I don't know if they came out flat or it's still early in the season. You're going to have some inconsistencies, but they've been playing on point for the most part. We talked about a little bit about how they have to come back because of slow starts. We know 5-1, and they came back and won in overtime, or he had a couple to come from behind it. But it's still early in the season. I'm not really in panic mode. We're a quarter through the season. This game, they extended their point streak, getting to the shootout. That showed resiliency, going down 3-1 and coming back. Samsonov, had a quality game. I mean, you really can't be mad at 3 goals on 33 shots. But unfortunately, the Caps didn't kick it in until the second and third. But, I mean, for the most part, Arizona was on. We talked about how Arizona was the team that was, kind of scary to look at. Their record didn't reflect how good they were. And they came in and they put it on the Caps. Like I said, they might have overlooked them. But at least they were able to get a point out of it. Robbie, what do you think?
I agree. Last night on Power Play, I talked about how I thought we didn't play a full 60 minutes in this game. And I think that we probably deserved 1 point, but not 2. So I think we got what we deserved in this game. I thought we played a solid for points. We then fell apart. Then we were lucky to get back in it. But I thought it was good experience for Sam to get into a shootout situation. And overall, I think the team that needed it and was more desperate for the win got it. And so that's kind of how I felt about that one.
I can agree with that, definitely. All right, let's go ahead and get into that Philly game. That Philly game was a hell of a game. And Rob, Anna, go ahead and break that one down and recap it.
Sure thing. So on Wednesday, the Caps head to Philly. And here we go. It's Brendan Leipzig, who I'm a big fan of recently, scores the second goal of the season at 6:13, assisted by Carlson and Dowd. And then there were no goals in the second. And then Philly scores a power play goal at 6:38 to tie it up in the third. And now we're heading into a shootout. So you have Oshie and Kuzi both scoring, making it a 2-1 win. I know there are a lot of people, including my co-host, pal, Gil, who absolutely hates the shootout. I find it exciting. I can understand where he's coming from. But
why does Gil hate the shootout?
He just thinks it's a waste of time. He just thinks that they should just call it as, it is what it is, whether it's a tie, they don't need to go into it. And I don't know. For me, it's kind of, I see it like it's a shootout is exciting, and it's really when you can see an individual skill that is going to shine. You hope, whether it's the player, the goalie, they've got to be exhausted after 60 minutes or I guess 65 minutes at that point. And I'm all for it. And he just absolutely hates any kind of shootout. So he gets all kinds of crazy. But I find it kind of exciting, and apparently so do the Caps, because that's kind of like how we've been going the last couple of games.
Yeah, I love the shootout because with it being regular season and you have to get the point, who's going to get the extra point for the game. So you have to have the shootout. I mean, sudden death, if nothing happens after that, you go to the shootout. That's the only thing that makes sense. And it makes it more, exciting at the end of the game to try to see who's going to outdo it. And then I love it because in the postseason, there is no shootout. It's sudden death. I like the change of pace and the change of mentality going into the postseason. That's why I love hockey so much, because it's like, to me, it's the last pure sport left. Other sports, you got superstar rules. James Harden can take the European step in NBA, and other players take 4 steps in his travel. The quarterbacks, if you pluck them on the helmet, it's a roughing the passer call. But if a superstar in the NHL gets away with something and the refs don't call it, somebody on the other team, they're going to get them back. So that's why I love hockey, because even if there is some politics involved, it can still be leveled on the ice, and it can still can be handled in a way if the refs don't catch it or decide not to call something. So, I mean, the shootout, I love it because it adds a whole different dynamic. I mean, the 3-on-3 overtime is already exciting enough with it being as wide open as it is, and then you add the shootout into it. I feel like it just adds to the hockey game. It makes it even better. Robbie, what do you think?
I kind of think that I wish that they would do 3-on-3 for 10 minutes. So a little bit longer.
Really? After a 60-minute game? Come on now. Like the Caps have had a couple of games they had to go to overtime, so you want them to play 70 minutes of hockey back-to-back and 4 times in a week? Man, that's kind of rough, Robbie.
I know, but I think that their legs are going to get tired and it's going to give out. I think you'd actually be surprised at how many games would only go 1 or 2 minutes more, and not go all the way. Because, 3-on-3, it's pretty easy to score during. I know that we've gone to a lot of shootouts, so it doesn't, show it. But I would say a majority of the games probably are won in overtime. I have to look at the stats specifically, but, I think that if you were to just increase it by a couple more minutes, or even 8 minutes, I would be willing to split it, But I'd be interested to see if we could just get a couple more minutes if it would just be decided. I just like games being decided in hockey, not in a gimmick. I love the shootout, but it's not the same, I kind of always feel
what happens if you're still tied up after the 8 minutes? What happens then?
I'm almost okay if you just call it a tie. I don't think you need a winner.
But you have the points though. That's it. Like if it was football, I understand. Yeah, each team gets a tie. But what about the extra point? Because you get a point for an overtime win. So what do you do in that situation?
Well, no, I think that all the more encouragement to score in those 10 minutes. You gotta win it. You can't just. Yeah, I don't want people to just get.
Zach does not agree, Robbie. Zach does not agree.
Zach does not agree 100%.
But no, I love the shootout. It's not about loving. I think it's just pure to have them win it. Playing hockey. I think it's a fun thing to watch. But every time we win in the shootout, I feel like we stole one, and every time we lost, I feel like we got a game stolen from us. We had ties for so many years, Carroll.
But it's just like the NFL with if you score a touchdown on a possession and the other team don't get the ball, game is over. So the defense has to stop the other team from getting a touchdown. If they hold them to a field goal, they get a chance to win the game. Same thing. If you can't do it in the 5 minutes, both teams play hard, goalie's on point. I say go to the shootout. I think it makes it more exciting for real as a regular with 82 games.
Exciting. I think it's
with 82 games. I think that's perfect for the regular season, and then in the postseason we do sudden death. I think it's a perfect formula. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean I understand both points of view. I do. I just think I would like, I don't know. I think I like the purity of the game, and I think what happens, or I'd be willing to do 4-on-4 for the first 5 minutes, and then maybe 3-on-3 for the second 5, or something like that, where having dwindling numbers of players, go to 2-on-2, go 1-on-1, then you get your shootout that way.
It's going to be the goalies going at it, just shoot the puck from each blue line, huh? We didn't got off on a tangent. Let's go ahead and get back into this recap. We didn't went off on a tangent here. I told you I've been drinking. I don't know what we might talk about tonight. And let's go ahead and get to that third game, that game we really don't want to talk about.
No, we really don't. But I like Robbie's gentle shootout approach. I see things totally different, but it's all good. It's all good. I respect everyone's opinions. So here we go. On Friday, the Caps play the Canadiens. I would honestly have to say of the 4 games, this was the worst one. I absolutely hated this game. But here we go. So we have no scoring in the first, and in the second period, the Canadiens score 4 times. That just says too much right there. It was a cringeworthy moment. I wish it was not what it was, but it is. So then we go into the third period. We do have our captain scoring his 14th, and Kuzi scores his 9th. But it still resulted in a 5-2 loss. Honestly, when this is the game that I really looked at the stats and I thought, God, damn it. Like, shots on goal, you have 40 versus 28. Not good. And then, of course, with the face-off, you have a 59% with the Canadiens and a 41% with the Capitals. So it was an off game. I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, of the 4, this is the worst game for me. I really don't know if I have anything positive to say. I just don't. It was awful to watch.
Yeah.
I was actually lucky enough not to see this game. I was working. I saw the score. I watched the pregame before the game, and Montreal, they were on a losing streak, I believe, and they had something to prove out there. The Caps be the number 1 team in the league, and I just felt like the Canadiens just came out ready, and the Caps weren't, as we spoke about in the previous game against who was that? I can't read my own hand right. Well, we talked about it, but they came out slow. They jumped on them, and the Caps were able to come back.
Really?
Ovi got, a goal, but this is, early season. I'm not really going to chalk this one up like the Joe B and Locker always say. Sometimes you just got to throw away the film, chalk it up as a bad game, and move on to the next one.
True.
So I watched the first period. I did not watch the second or third period. So I kind of feel like the jinx to turn the game off because 0-0 when I turned it off. But, but then I saw the score, and then I never turned it back on, after I saw it was 4-0. So that was kind of the end of that for me. So that was kind of where I, my thoughts on that are that I didn't really watch the bad parts of it. They looked decent in the beginning, but obviously they fell apart in the middle. And so I just also found out that I muted myself on my stream the entire first 20 minutes of that. So that was fantastic. So,
oh boy, hey, I did that too, Robbie. So we're all in the same club, man. I got an excuse for drinking though when it happens. So I don't know about you.
I don't have a good excuse, So anyway, I was gonna plug in a mic, but then the mic didn't. Anyway, so I was supposed to use the onboard audio. I did not use it, which sucks because I actually had a live shot of the goal on my feed because I switched to a different camera that I had pointed at the screen. But, of course, no one heard any of that. So, anyway, so such is life. Unlucky in both that game and unlucky in the video stream, but I fixed that now, and we definitely had a better game the next one. So I'm willing to jump ahead and talk about the Bruins game.
Definitely. I got to see that game, so, yeah, definitely talk about that one. Go ahead, Anna, break it down.
All right. So for me, and I think a lot of the Capitals fans, the best game was the Saturday night game against the Boston Bruins. So here we go. The first period, Boston scores at 11:32. But then we have 3 minutes later, Travis Boyd gets his first goal of the season assisted by Carlson and Leipzig to tie it up. Second period, we have the Bruins going at 3:30, and that was it. There was no other goals. But at the third period, Oshie scores at 19:01 to tie it up. So now it's 2-2. And now we head into these. I found this to be like the incredible shootout. It was so much more exciting than the other game. Oshie shoots, it's a save. Coyle shoots, it's a goal. Kuzi shoots, it's a miss. Pasta shoots, it's a save. Backstrom shoots, it's a goal. Marchand shoots, it's a save. Ovi shoots, it's a save. Krychek shoots, it's a save. And then we have the ultimate number 13, Jacob Vrana goal to make it a 3-2 win. And that goal to me, I mean, other than the fact that he's one of my favorites, was so beyond fantastic and so like the skill, the speed, the intensity, everything. That kid had it in that moment. So I was so excited. I like the shootout. It doesn't bother me as much as others, but I think that Jacob Vrana 100% proved himself as a fantastic hockey player, especially like just at that moment alone. It's awesome.
Well, I actually have a video of that goal playing on my Facebook Live YouTube feed right now. And watching the live game, basically Pavel Datsyuk made that move famous in the shootout and in live game action, and Rana used it to perfection. And it was a beautiful thing to watch, but you can't overlook the battle between these two teams. The Capitals have won 8 in a row in Boston, which is great. And, they won, 16 out of the last 17. So when they went down, I really wasn't worried about it because I knew Hope's, record against them and how this team plays against them. So to force overtime and to get that point and to have Rana make a play, a move like that, it was sick. Like I said, it's playing right now on my Facebook Live feed, and it was excuse me. Like I said, I've been drinking. Excuse some of the, human bodily function going on over here. But it was definitely a good game to watch. And like I said, the lone team that's actually doing something positive in the DC sports right now. It was good to see them, get back on the right track, especially after a back-to-back and losing 5-2 versus Montreal and coming back on the road and beating Boston, who's also playing some good hockey right now. They're number one in the Atlantic, and to be able to, take care of them on the road and get that extra point was a good thing to see. Like they learned their lesson from the night before. What do you think, Robbie?
Oh, yeah. So this game was the opposite. I originally didn't have it turned on at all. I was at an auction for my school, a fundraiser, and I had worked the event. But then they finished the live auction. I saw there was 4 minutes left. I saw that we were down a goal, and I was like, people are just dancing and riding a mechanical bull. I can definitely watch a game on my phone. And so I turned on the game, and the greatest comeback that I've seen in a while. I was like, what is going on? I guess I can't say the greatest in a while because we've now done 5 road comebacks in a row, which is a franchise best, especially, or 5 road overtime or shootout wins in a row, and most of those were comebacks. So just incredible. I talked about it last night on Power Play Point Podcast. It was just a show of resiliency, especially recently. Just the ability to get in overtime, force a point here and there, even if you don't get both points. For us to get 5 points this week, I thought it was great. I thought we would go 2-2, like what happened, but we were able to get 5 points, not 4 out of it, and that's great. And so, sometimes, Gil asked me on their show whether or not you think that you can peak too early. You got to bank these points whenever you can get them. And, in my mind, overtime points here and there. I mean, there'll be games that we will lose later in the season that we should have won. So we got to win the games we should have lost. And so I really was excited. And then I found some people that I work with that I knew were big hockey fans, and I had them all huddle around me for overtime and then for the shootout. And then we were all taking turns picking who should go next. And it went to round 5. And I said, I think it should be Vrana next. He's got great speed and is just a great player. And sure enough, they pulled Vrana. I was like, here we go. And he pulled, as we were talking about earlier, the Pavel Datsyuk move, and just incredible. And then and overlooked was the great save by Holtby right afterwards. Holtby had to make some key saves to keep them in it in that shootout, and he did. And we were able to get a win and escape. And Holtby continues to own Boston, which is always great.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what it is about Boston, but he definitely locks in with them, and whenever he's in net, it's almost a guaranteed victory. It's still 1-0 in the Caps versus Anaheim, 5:32 left in the first. Anaheim's in the Capital Zone, putting a little bit of pressure on, got the puck behind the net. Capitals are being aggressive on the defensive end, trying to force a turnover, and they clear the zone and get it. Fresh troops on. They're switching some lines up right now. 5:13 left in the first period. Your Caps up 1-0. Rob, you want to get into the upcoming schedule before we get into the Wizards roundtable?
Yeah, I'm trying something new. I actually have a live feed going. I'm holding my iPhone up so people can actually watch some of the end of it. But yeah, I'll go back to live stats. I was just trying to see if that would work. It's kind of cool. Trying new things, seeing what we could do. Yeah, the upcoming schedule, obviously we're playing a game right now against the Ducks. It started at 7. We're up 1-0, as Carroll mentioned. And then we've got a game against the Rangers on Wednesday. That is an 8 o'clock game. I think that's nationally televised. I don't have it in front of me right now. Hold on, let me pull that part up. But so that game will be top of division matchup. The Rangers are, even when they're having a down season, they always seem to play us well. So why don't we start there? Anna, what are your thoughts on the Rangers?
Oh boy. Well, I'll say they are 8-2. So I would love to say, oh, no worries. But you know what? You have Panarin and Lundqvist. And enough said on those 2 players. I don't think, they're going to be a building block, kind of getting their mojo back on the New York Rangers end. But again, you know what? I just don't think the Caps need to take anything for granted. I think we need to play, again, 60 minutes of hockey. We have a chemistry, which I absolutely love, and it just needs to continue. So let's hope we can shut down. I think it's going to be, again, a Lundqvist versus Holtby match, which, 2 amazing goalies against each other. Why not? But I do think that number 7, he's gonna rise above.
Interesting. I'm pulling up the stats here.
Hold up. The bread man went to the Rangers?
Yeah.
I didn't know Panarin went to the Rangers. Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus, I had no idea.
Yeah, 9 goals, 14 assists. And their backup goalie has actually been playing better this season. He has more wins right now and is listed, at least in the stats leader in the goalie category. Grigorov, Alexander, or Georgiev. That's what it is.
Hold on. I'm going back to the bread man. What is it with him in the Metropolitan now, man? He was in Columbus giving the Caps headaches. Now he's in the Rangers. Now we got to see him. Oh, man, I don't know what it is about that dude. I don't like him, man. He's good. I don't like him.
He's damn good.
So I'm also I'm pulling up some league stats on my live feed right now, and so we're number 1 in goals for, and they're number 17. Goals against, it's pretty even. We're 23rd, they're 20th. Assists were number 1 in the league with 131, and they're 15th. And shooting percentage, we're first. Power play, we're 9th, and they're 14th. Penalty kill, we're 5th, and they're 29th. Penalty minutes, we're 23rd, and they're 30th. So they don't take a lot of penalties. And that game will be on NBC Sports, so it'll be a nationally televised game at that 8 o'clock game. For time, let's just jump ahead and get into this Vancouver game real fast. It's a 12:30 start. So Vancouver recently has lost 4 out of their last 5, including their only win, was against Nashville. They lost to New Jersey, Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado. They are an up-and-down team. Anna, what are your thoughts on Vancouver?
I have to say who they lost to are a pretty tough team, so I'm not going to say that it's a slam dunk for the Caps with Canada, with Vancouver. But I think that the Capitals they know what they need to do, and right now they're tight. The chemistry's there, and the penalty minutes are decreased from what we thought they would be. Certainly against Boston and other teams, I think they have it in them. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be definitely a fun game to watch. I look forward to it. I just think that, and I'm not losing faith in Sammy at all. No way. I think he's got it in him, and I think we're going to see him shine soon.
Yeah. I know that Gil asked me about Sam on your show, and I think, starting with 5 wins to start a career, I know he's had a couple of blips here, and hoping he started off weak and has come on strong. But, seasons are long, and to start off with 5 big wins in your career is something no other Capital had done before. So there's definitely a lot to be excited about with him and the future of that as well.
Oh, Samson Samsonov is solid. He's a first-round draft pick for a reason. I think he's going to be the goalie of the future. I don't think Hope's going to re-sign here at the end of the season. I believe they're going to put it all in and they'll try to make a run, before Hope rolls. They have some salary cap stuff that they're going to have to get squared away before December, and they make that Los Angeles, road trip that they go on. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how things fold out and what they're going to do. There was mention, as I talked about, NHL Network was talking about panic before he got that goal in the first. He had 0 points, and he was supposed to be the replacement for Connolly once they let Connolly walk, and he hasn't produced at all. So they were speaking about, maybe him being on the trading block, on trade deadline, because they have to get this salary cap situation taken care of because they can't keep on shuffling these guys up and down, trying to make it work, even though 1/3 of the teams in the league are doing the same thing. You're trying to go on a Stanley Cup run, and you can't keep on having this fluctuation and bringing players up to fight the salary cap.
True.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, right now we are so up against it. I mean, the best thing for the Capitals, and all the Caps fans should root for this, is that there's a tremendous jump in the salary cap allowance for next year, because it's going to be hard to fit all these players in, and we've got to look forward to re-signing Ovi, and to re-sign Ovi, you need Nick, and I just hope he's kind of the odd man out. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to avoid making a decision on all of this until after Seattle makes their picks. So, like, we could hold off on signing Holtby or not because free agency, I believe, is just after the draft. So we could, in theory, hold on to Holtby's rights and hope that Seattle takes him off of our hands before we even make a decision. But I believe, actually, for them to sign somebody, you have to have them signed. I don't think that you can, if technically Holtby's a free agent, like we could sign Holtby and hope that they take him off our hands, but I don't know if we just leave him as a free agent that they can take him. So it's going to be interesting.
If he's available, they're going to take him.
Well, no, I'm saying is if he's a free agent and we're not signed him, then in their expansion draft they can't take him from us. So he has to be a signed player.
Oh yeah, I mean I doubt if they're going to re-sign him. I think he's going to end up being an expansion. They're going to pick him up as a free agent. I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be interesting, but I think definitely he will be probably going to Seattle, but he's not like a trade piece. So it's going to be interesting how that all folds out this year. But I see him in Seattle as being just like Fleury was in Vegas for the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I can see that happening too. Or some team may, overpay for him. Not overpay, but, he's towards the end of his career. I don't know how many more championships he has. It's difficult to win a Stanley Cup.
Hold up, he's still young. Robbie, you trying to get the man out of the league already. Brodeur played till he was like 41, 42.
But how many championships did he have at the end of his career?
Yeah, but he wasn't on a team as powerful as the Capitals. He was on the Devils team that could barely score, where he had a hand on his head to win.
That's if he's on the Capitals, but if he goes to a new team, I mean, I know Vegas did well, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all the new teams are going to.
Yeah, but he's a top-notch goalie, Vezina winner. He's one of the. I feel he's one of the best goalies. I forgot to mention a stat that I saw the other day. I don't know, Robbie. I can't believe you missed this. Since 1982, I don't know why they used that year. The Capitals have the most victories of any team in the NHL.
Yeah, no,
1,747 wins. Since 1982. I think that's the first year they started tracking something. I saw that on NHL Network the other day. I forgot to mention that stat earlier.
I know why that's the stat, because the person who went to dig it up was a Caps fan, was a statistician, and they pulled it up, and then other people picked it up as well. So the reason is we were one of the worst teams in the NHL at that point. People were trying to sell the Caps, trade the Caps. It was it was
the Save the Caps campaign. That's what it was. Yeah, it was a Save the Caps campaign they brought up about, and that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry if you hear Zach in the background. He is upset.
Zach is still upset about that overtime shootout stuff you was talking about, man.
Right, exactly. He thinks the shootout is great. He doesn't usually get to stay up that late, though, so I don't know if he's seen one yet. He usually gets to see the first period. That's what I let him see. So, but
all right, let's go ahead and wrap up this Caps talk. I see you got the round table on the line, holding and waiting, and I got to empty the bladder while y'all talk. So let's go ahead and wrap up this Caps talk and get into some Wizards talk before we talk Redskins at 8.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for being a part of it. I really enjoyed the Power Play Point podcast yesterday. That episode is now live. You can go to SportsOTHP.com, click the Power Play Point podcast button, and listen to it. I listened to it on my way home. It was a fun listen, even after being on it the night before. And so I really appreciate you giving all your time to us weekly, and it was fun doing the show with you last night.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Robbie. We appreciate your time as usual. Tonight was great. Let's hope for a win. Oh, my gosh, I hope to talk to you guys next week and only hear about W. So let's hope we can continue the – I don't know. I don't want to hear about the shootouts, but I definitely want to hear just about the W's.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that we win, too. This has so far been the best that we've done, at least on our show while we've been covering them live in a while. The last few weeks that we've done this has not been
That's true.
as good.
So let's just keep it going. And on that happy note, I will sign off. And best of luck on your show tonight. And I will talk to you guys next week.
All right, talk to you later, Ann. Appreciate it as always.
Always. Take care. Bye.
All right.
All right. So,